for the 322 review preview. So problem 84, it says on graph paper, but I just sketched them off to the side. It says draw figure 0 and figure 4. So if you compare figure 1 to figure 2, it is adding 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom row. So if we took 1 off, figure 0 would look like this. And then figure 4 would go up 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 5. I ran out of room, but over 5 like that. So then it says in part A, make an XY table. So I started with 0 was 2. Figure 1 had 4. 2 had 6. 3 had 8. And 4 had 10, because I'm counting the number of tiles. So then I know my initial value is going to be 0 in my table. So I know my rule is going to be adding 2. But then I have to figure out how much it changed. It was going up, and it was going up by 2 each time. So that's going to be my growth. So my rule is y equals 2x plus 2. So if I would make a graph, it's going to be a discrete graph, and actually just in the quadrant 1. So I figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I counted by 2s. So at 0, it was at 2. 1, it was at 4, 6. I could keep going with the dots, but I wouldn't connect them because it's a discrete graph. So then it says B, without drawing figure 5, predict where its point would lie in the graph. So the point would lie at 5, 12. And I could say I'm adding 2 to each figure. Problem 85, it says examine the graph at right to complete the table. So I noticed that it started at -1 and the point went all the way out to +3. So I made my graph -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So at -1, it was at -3. At 0, it was at -1. 1, it was at +1. 2, it was at +3. And then 3, it was at +5. So it says use a graph to find the rule. So my initial value is -1. So I know I'm going to -1. So I always start x minus 1. And I'm going up by 2 each time. So my growth is going to be 2. So it's 2x minus 1. Problem 86, find the area and the circumference of a circle with the diameter. So you had to do 2 things. So if you looked at your math notes or watched the math notes video, we would have found circumference is pi times diameter. So I would plug in 15. So I would do 3.14 times 15. So the circumference is about 47.1 centimeters. For the area, the formula is pi times radius squared. So half of 15 is 7.5. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 7.5 to the second power. So I get area equals 176.625 centimeters squared. So anytime it tells you to do this, make sure you're looking back at those math notes to find any formulas or methods that you need. Problem number 87, you're going to solve each equation. So I'm going to simplify this side. 3x minus 2x is x, and -7 plus 9 is 2. So right here, I got the same thing on both sides, so I know it's infinite solutions. For B, the first thing I'm going to do is simplify. -2 plus 1 is going to give me a -1m plus 9 equals 0. Subtract 9 from both sides. So I get -1m equals -9. Divided by -1, I get m equals +9. For C, combine x and 2x. So I'm going to get 2 equals -1x plus 6. Subtract 6, I get -4 equals -1x. So I'm going to get 4 equals x. And for D, I'm going to subtract p from both sides. So I'm going to get -0.5 p equals 5. So I get p equals -10. For the last problem, Mr. Wallace has done it again. He's created more tables. Use proportional reasoning. So the first thing I did was try to figure out what was happening, what was being multiplied. So if I did 2 times what number is 10, it's 5. So 10 times 5 is 50. So I'm taking the number of books times 5. So 12 times 5 is going to give me 60. If I work backwards, this will be 15, 5, this will be 1, and then 73. Minutes, so per block, so 10 times what number gives me 25? It turns out it's 2.5. So 1 times 2.5 is 2.5. 20 is going to give me 50. 30 is 75. 0 would be 0. And 14 would be 35. This one I had to figure out what I multiplied gallons by to go the other way, or I could divide. So gallons, I'm multiplying it by 20. 14 times 20 would give me 287. So 21 times 20 is 420. 1 times 20 would give me that one. 5, 50, and then the last one's 350.